All right, live in the building again. Showing BK back in live spaces. Should be fun. Did we tell anybody that we're live this time, Serda? Damn it! I just
I made a post about it 2 hours ago.
Oh, did you? I believed in you. I knew you did the whole way.
I did. I did say we were going to be live at 8:30, not at 8:50. So,
well, hey, keeping them waiting, man. You'd be fashionably late. Like, Monica did us one time. Went to the worst concert I've ever been to at a Sprint Center. The wife had the free tickets in the suite. It was Monica and Rick Ross. Hopefully, Rick has gotten a lot better of his performance, but it was awful. It was awful. Monica, she came in late. Her luggage was sent to the wrong city, so she was just performing in the clothes she wore on the plane, and she let us know repeatedly that she was. And I was slamming Miller Lights in the suite. That's it. But fashionably late. You'll be a little late in here. The Chiefs are 5-4 and still out of the playoffs at this point. And their last game against Buffalo, to me, has created a situation where there's really not any scoreboard watching anywhere else. Like the Patriots are playing right now, and they have a chance at the 1 seed. It does not matter to the Chiefs right now. The Colts, they had a game last week. They're the 1 seed. I don't know who the hell they play this week. It really doesn't matter right now. Because the only thing that matters right now is the Chiefs have to start stacking together wins, and they've got to start stacking together wins in this division if they have any hopes of hosting playoff games and not having to go on the road throughout the entire playoffs. And that's why, to me, this one is different. All the focus is right here. Chiefs fans ain't looking at other games, none of that stuff. The focus is right here in this game. And to me, this is, I don't want to overdo it, BK, but this feels like the defining moment of this season, that we will look at this team a certain way based off how this game goes.
It's an interesting thing that's happening because in so many ways, it's like the opposite of a year ago. Like last year, you won seemingly every week, right? We would turn on the games. It would be frustrating as hell to watch, and then they would win.
They played 9 games thus far. They were 9-0 to start last year.
And and yet you would get to Monday and Tuesday and people nationally would talk about the Chiefs. And they're like, are the Chiefs good? Because I watch them and I don't think they're very good. And then this year, you watch the games on Sunday. At times it's frustrating. And then they lose half of the time. And then you get to Monday or Tuesday and people nationally are like, that's the team. Super Bowl champs right there. So much so that right now they're out of the playoffs, but they're the Super Bowl favorites. And so there's this like huge disconnect between the results of the game and what appears to be the quality of the team this year, just as there was a year ago, but it's the inverse of what it was last year. Last year, you won all the time. They thought you were bad. This year, you're losing all the time. Everybody thinks they're good. At a certain point, that will stop. At a certain point, you lose the benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, you're just the Bengals, where I watch their offense every week, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, if they get into the playoffs, nobody wants to see it. But you also have to pair that with the defense, and they don't win football games over the last couple of years. So the Chiefs are at risk of becoming that this season if they don't start to take care of business on the field. Because, Ron, what's happening right now in the AFC is really interesting. There's a changing of the guard that through the first 10 weeks of the NFL season has taken place. The Colts, the Broncos, and the Patriots, as of today, as we're speaking, currently have the 3 best records in the AFC. Meanwhile, the Bills are the 6 seed, the Chiefs are the 8 seed, and the Ravens are the 10 seed. That's not how this was supposed to go heading into 2025. The Chiefs over the next 2 weeks play head-to-head against the Denver Broncos and against the Indianapolis Colts. If they're able to win those 2 games, nobody's talking about them as the upstart teams that are going to do damage again or in the playoffs. No, instead it goes back to, all right, it's still the Chiefs conference. But if they lose one and certainly both of those games, the changing of the guard will feel as if it is here for at least 2025. And that's where things get a little more difficult for us to look at and say, all right, yeah, we're still feeling good about the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a huge 2-week stretch, and it starts this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, sort of, if they win this game, you're in the all right, they can roll. If they lose this game, I think you got to start being honest about the situation. They struggle on the road. They will have lost all their road games for a game against Russell Wilson and the Giants. Anytime they've really had to play against top-notch opponents, right? They've struggled outside of the Detroit game, right? At this point, I guess Baltimore was kind of that way, but it'll be the Chargers, it'll be Philly, it'll be Jacksonville. It would now be the Denver Broncos. They've lost. Like, I just think we would have to start being honest and looking at this team as no, man, yeah, I feel just as good about them winning the Super Bowl as I've had every year. To all right, if they get in a dance, can they get magic? Right. And that's not what the Chiefs have been. Can they get magic?
Well, and yeah, like I think you're right too. It's this week, and this is what we've been talking about for 2 weeks, basically, because of the bye. Is like this is a chance for them to like prove something because we've seen the potential and we've seen what we think is like the ceiling of this offense. So I think it's still debatable if we've even truly seen that yet this season. But the reason that they are 5-4 is specifically because you can point to weaknesses and mistakes that other Chiefs teams haven't made in the past. And those things have caught up to this team and they haven't been able to overcome them the way other Chiefs teams have in the past. So like, I still think that they're really good. And I still think you can make the case. Like, that's why the Super Bowl odds are still what they are. Like, that's why the Chiefs are still so heavily favored, because they're still like, even the people that gamble and make all these odds up are still afraid of what this team can do if they figure it out. And hopefully the bye week came at the perfect time for them to get that stuff figured out. And then we see the first glimpse of it against the Broncos, because if they do lose this game, I think the division's like off the table essentially if they lose this game on Sunday. Like there's a lot of football left to be played, but the Broncos are going to fall into some easy wins. Like once you start playing this game where you're banking on a team like that to stumble and just have bad losses, that's when you start to get in trouble. And the Chiefs can take control of this thing on Sunday with their first step being just showing up and playing, because I think when they play their best, they're a better football team than the Denver Broncos.
No, yeah, no, I'm they should be, right? They should be. We've watched this Broncos team. Now, I also want to be fair to understand what it's like living in the Kansas City Chiefs world. Like that Broncos team that played against the Raiders last week, that's not the team that's going to show up here. That Broncos team that played the 13-11 game against the Jets, like the Chiefs get to see whatever everybody's team's fastball is, at least at the beginning, except for that Raiders game. But whatever any team's fastball is, they get to see it. And Denver is thinking this is a big game for us too. And they want to come through and try to, finish off this division. But the thing is, for me, they're a better football team. I believe with my eyes. I believe with my eyes what we've watched, they're a better football team. And I believe that the Chiefs are better than their 5-4 record. But that don't mean a damn thing, because we've talked about it. We talked about it going into the Bills game, BK. At some point, math has got to come into play. That if you're 5-5, whew, okay. But if they win this one, then you feel like, okay, this thing is setting up. They're on their way. They win this one. I just can't see them losing to. I don't think the Indianapolis Colts are ready to go into Arrowhead right now and win. And then you look at it. They got the Colts, they got the Chargers, and they got the Broncos again at home. Right? They get control to play the teams that they would need to play to get to where they would want to get to, and you can roll. And their road games are at Titans, at Raiders. Like that is absolutely doable in this run. And at the Cowboys, that is doable in this run. If they get this one, you can see what we talked about it before the show. You can see the 2021 start 5-4 and finish 7-1 type of scenario.
Exactly. And the other thing about it, Ron, is like, man, you've got to start winning some of these tiebreakers too. Whether it's head to head, AFC, whatever it is, you're going to need these down the road. So, for a million different reasons, I mean, you look at it right now, you don't have a tiebreaker head to head against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You don't have a tiebreaker head to head against the Buffalo Bills, which feels like now it might actually matter. You don't have the tiebreaker head to head so far against the LA Chargers, and you're struggling against conference opponents, which means against other AFC teams that you didn't play head to head this year. You don't have it against some of them either. So, eventually, as you said, the math's got to start mathing for you, man.
Yeah.
And the only way to get that in your favor is to start winning these kinds of games. The team has, generally speaking, been excellent against the division under Andy Reid, especially since Patrick Mahomes took over. Andy is awesome in after the bye week situations, and he's awesome against divisional foes. You add both of those things up. And by the way, Steve Spagnuolo, I don't think we talk enough about how much he changes things after a bye week. Traditionally, this has been when the defense has gone on a run as well. Man, everything lines up for the Chiefs to be in a very good spot to take advantage of what they have in front of them right now in Denver. But I thought they were in a good spot to take advantage of their opponent in Buffalo. I thought they were in a good spot to potentially beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. It doesn't much matter if you're in a good spot. You got to do it. Like, you got to go out there and actually beat these teams.
Yeah, yeah. But this feels different than Buffalo. And they need to beat Buffalo, but this feels different than that. They feel like they ought to walk these cats. They're just a better football team. But again, man, like I said, right now, I'm sitting in the space of this team has as good a chance to win the Super Bowl. I'd feel comfortable still rolling with the Chiefs. I don't think it's crazy that they're Super Bowl favorites right now. I'm in that space right now. I know what's happened, right? This has a chance for us to see this full offense. We'll see what happens with Pacheco, but this is the closest to everybody's back that we'll see. And I believe that. They lose this one, at some point I'm just being delusional, right? I mean, I can't sit here and say, yeah, man, they're rolling. I know they lost to the Chargers, the Eagles, the Jags. They lost to what would be the Broncos, all of those teams in the playoffs, the Bills, all of those teams in the playoffs. At some point, it's like, all right, man, like it's just hitting the same team. They go out here and do what I would expect them to do against a team that they're better than in a must-have game, which they've all spoken, right? They've all spoken like this is a must-win game. That is what they have been saying in the locker room, and they've said it to us. This is a must-win game, and they got to treat it as such. All right, if you're new to the program, you're watching us live on YouTube. We are live. I'm not drunk, but I am going with a.
Is that a mule tonight?
Kentucky. Kentucky mule.
Does that mean
What's
it's
the bourbon of choice?
Bourbon.
So let me tell you something. So the lady, my wife, Courtney, she said, I feel like she went to the liquor store. She said yesterday, I feel like an old fashioned. I said, damn, that's nice. I said, you know what? I'm trying to watch, trying to drink well, trying to do better. I said, I feel like a good mule. I said, won't you run up there? I know they got that 0 sugar ginger beer. Won't you run into that ginger beer? And I'll go a little Kentucky mule with you. She gonna send a picture of wild turkey back to me. What do you think about this one? Wild turkey? Hell, what the hell? Wild turkey? Come on now. We in a better place than that.
Was it 101?
Let me see. She sent the picture here. Let me pull it up again here.
Wild Turkey 101 is one of my favorite bang for your buck whiskeys.
Yeah, listen.
It's a fantastic bourbon.
Yeah, I don't. Can you see this one? Is that what that is? That? Yeah, that's what she said.
I think that's rare. I think that's. I'm not a big fan of that one. That's a pretty expensive bottle, though.
Listen, I just think we're in a better spot than the Wild Turkey. And she, I'm not trying to, toot my own horn. I just think we're in a better spot than the Wild Turkey.
Okay.
And
Why don't you tell her what you want then, instead of being judgy about what she sends you?
I think what she sent you is like a $70 bottle, just for what it's worth.
Hold on real quick, Steve. I know that you're upset about your haircut, but you don't have to take it out on me. It looks good. You don't have to be angry at me about your haircut. So I pushed her towards it. She went and got the 4 rows. Single.
Oh, there you go.
barrel.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, it's a little bit better. We
got a
better
haircut this week?
No, I mean, he's talking about the one I got a while back.
Overall, man, it's just not where he wants it, and I mean, and I feel bad. I do. I know it's a tough deal. It's a lot shorter than he wanted. I mean, I think it looks sensational, but
it's not a bad looking haircut. And
it's just not anything that you wanted.
I spent a year growing it out. If I wanted it to look like how it's looked my entire life, I could have had that done at any point.
And off of that, when the Chiefs have the ball, hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, there are a lot of games where we can break down and we can say, oh, all right. Hey, last year, Cortland Sutton really gave the Chiefs secondary problems, and he really, with his size, gave our top corner some problems. You know, hey, that was a bit of a struggle for Trent. Then you could go look at other stuff. But, the Broncos can run the ball pretty decently. We saw what the Bills did. Can the Broncos run like that? Blah, blah, blah. There is one thing that this game comes down to. And I believe we will find the winner of the game in this matchup. Some games you're like, ooh, whatever team turns the ball over less. I think the Chiefs can lose the turnover battle. And if they win this battle, they still win the game. It is the Chiefs' offensive line versus the Denver Broncos front seven. That's where this game is. However that matchup goes will determine who wins the game. By the way, I think the Chiefs can still win the game even if that matchup doesn't go great. I don't think Denver can win the game if that matchup doesn't go in their favor. All right, we'll talk about the Broncos and their offense in a bit. But right now, when you compare the Broncos offense and the Chiefs defense, what they've done, right? Like the Broncos, we watched the Raiders team. They suck on defense. We watched that Raiders team ourselves. They could not do anything with the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders defense controlled that game. They could not do anything. The Jets, they struggled. The Texans, great defense, but they struggled. I mean, they have some offensive issues, right? So they need their defense, and in particular, their defensive line, and they are bad. When I mean bad in a good way. That Zach Allen, baby J.J. Watt, that nut, he is a problem. Kingsley, you got to strap it up. Creed, Trey, y'all got to strap it up. And then them psychopaths on the edge, 15-0, come off so fast. I mean, they lead the league in sacks and hurries and hits by a mile. Like nobody's close to them. 46 sacks. But again, as I said, this is the game. They sacked Geno Smith 6 times. Geno could not walk. It's 10-7. They still had a chance. They make a 45-yard field goal. The game's tied. Who knows what happened? And they beat Geno's ass up. This is the matchup. If the Chiefs' offensive line can just be solid, if they're just if you come in there and you're like, all right, man, they gave up 4 sacks, but they're all right, I think they win the game. If the Chiefs' offensive line is above average, I can't see the path for the Broncos winning the game. And I think this matchup is such a major part of this game. This is where the game will be decided, in my opinion.
So pressure is a huge deal, right? Like we all know, pressure causes incompletions. It causes errant throws, which can become interceptions. Like it's a huge deal. Sacks are drive enders. When you end up getting sacked, you're losing 5 to 7 yards. it's over. Like that drive just came to an abrupt ending, even if it was on first down. More often than not, now for the Chiefs, they can sometimes overcome them because they have Patrick Mahomes. He's different. For most teams, though, that's it. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because you mentioned, Ron, the Denver Broncos have 46 sacks on the season. To put in context just how absurd that is, first of all, it's the most through the first 10 weeks of a regular season since 1989, when the Minnesota Vikings had 50 through the first 10 weeks of the season. So we're talking about the most through 10 weeks in the last 35 years of professional football. So yeah, it's pretty absurd. Beyond that, just relative to their peers, because, we're throwing more now than we did previously. Maybe they're just getting a lot more opportunities, right? No. The Denver Broncos are first with 46. Second in the NFL this year is a tie between the Steelers and the Seahawks. They have 32 sacks on the season. To again put that gap in context, Broncos 46, second most in the NFL, 32. 26th in the NFL is the Las Vegas Raiders with 18. The gap between first and second is the same as the gap between second and 26th in sacks on the season. This is not just the best defensive line that the Chiefs have seen this year. It's one of the best pass rushes that we've seen in recent memory, even though they don't necessarily have that one household name the way that some of these teams do if you're going up against Cleveland or something like that. So yeah, this game can be lost by your defensive line because you can be put into so many bad situations, so many third and longs due to Patrick Mahomes sitting on his butt. It can completely ruin your game plan. That is where this thing starts and ends. And thank God the Chiefs actually have their full offensive line available this week.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. Simmons has been back in the building. Trey Smith, full participant all week. And even Jawan Taylor with that ankle. God, right now, man, if Wanye had to play, I think they're gonna lose. If Wanye Morris had to play, I think they're going to lose. And the thing for me, Serda, and I'd love to hear you and BK's thoughts on this because, listen, this isn't some deal of you just heard BK express that. This isn't some deal of, hey man, just got to hope our guys can beat their guys. Sometimes you're going to have to do that. But they're also going to have to do things to slow their pass rush up. Like every game I've watched that teams have been able to have some success, the Giants, the Colts, those are teams, the Eagles early, teams that had some success slowing their pass rush down, they did things. They can't just sit, and that's the scary thing about Andy, because I remember last year it was very clear that Kingsley did not have a shot against anybody he was facing for the Bengals, including Trey Hendrickson. And they would not change anything. They rarely ever even. And there was a point where it's just set a tight end over there and just leave him. They won't, because you know it. Andy is going to run his offense regardless. He doesn't care. They would do that. They would do that to Wanye. All right, man, you got to hold up. We ain't chipping. I'm sending my 5 guys out on the route. And that's the scary part. They've got to do things to help them, sort of screens, whatever. That to me has got to be a big thing. You can't just say, all right, Josh and Jawan and Kingsley, you guys win your one-on-one battles. Might have to sometimes, but you got to do things to help them.
I think we all assume that Josh Simmons is going to start this game. Andy Reid has been kind of weird. We got to see where he's at. And it is worth wondering, we don't know what he was doing in California. Was he, as he's going through this, these personal things that he was away from the team for, was he working out? Was he taking care of himself? Was he doing all of that stuff? Because, they might want to ramp him back up, but I think we all assume he's just going to play because he's their best option. But there's no defensive line in the NFL that can come at you from every position right now, quite like what the Denver Broncos are bringing to the table. So it can't just be whether it's Josh Simmons or Jalen Moore. I would hope that Andy Reid's got some things to try to help with the protection up front, and not just, hey, tackle, sorry, you guys are on an island against this defensive line, and hope Mahomes has just enough time to make the plays, and we're going to try to scheme things up. Like, I would hope that they've identified some of that stuff over the course of the bye week, and we're going to see it actually take effect against the Broncos because they're going to need it on Sunday.
That's the thing to me, Ron, that I'm most curious about maybe going into this game is just like, what does the offense look like? Because they now have had a full 2 weeks to be able to reassess things. You know what your personnel is. You're able to go self-scout. Hey, what are we good at? What are we lacking? How can we make it a more cohesive offense where it's not just, hey, this is Rasheed's turn and now it's Xavier Worthy play. Like, how does all of this work together in the aggregate? And it's something that I think they've kind of struggled with at times. Now, the offense has been amazing for the most part, but especially against Buffalo, it almost felt compartmentalized in some ways. So I'm curious to see what that looks like and then what that means for the offensive line. Like, you have some guys that can get open quickly and can win with yards after catch opportunities. Is that a way that you alleviate some of that pressure from the offensive line where you get rid of it a little quicker from Patrick Mahomes this week? Maybe Rashee Rice, like, get him going on some screens. Can you get, I don't know, Xavier Worthy going on some screens this week? Can you get Rashard Smith some opportunities in space? These are the kinds of things that just, it makes life a little more difficult. It makes the pass rush think a little bit more as they're getting upfield. There are opportunities there, and typically this is a spot where Andy Reid has some success, but I mean, we need to see it. So this is the week where he can implement a lot of that.
Right. They've had 2 weeks, right? And they knew who they're going to play, and they knew the importance of this game. And they knew Denver anyway, but they've had extra time. I'm with you. I do think we probably see the quick passing game that they also have perfected. But, like, to me, that was the one thing that I think was really surprising is that Buffalo was able, and I do understand, right? You had Josh Simmons out, then you ended up not having either one of your tackles. Kingsley got hurt there for a second, so you did get beat up a little bit. But that was the thing for me. I don't remember very many screens. I don't they were running the ball with a certain level of success, and they just didn't do it enough. Like, they didn't do it enough at all, as you said, to even make the Bills defensive line think. And that game never really got away from them to ditch it. And that's what I'm saying. They ran it well. They just decided to go against it and combined it with long drops, it felt like, and not just quick stuff. So we know they have the master of the quick game. And that is the thing also, is that's what they ran all last year, really the last 2 years. And we know Rice, we know Xavier Worthy, if he's good. By the way, he showed up in the injury report. We know Thorpe. We know all those guys. Juju excels in it. We know all those guys can run that. But they've just got to do things, in my opinion, to help them and not sit there like the Buffalo game. The Buffalo game, I just didn't feel like they did a lot of things to help slow down that pass rush, because maybe they didn't think that pass rush was going to be a problem, but it clearly was a problem, and they didn't do things. We just saw, you talked about it, the best play of the game, potentially in that game, is they had Bosa's mind all over the place. 4th and 17, he's unblocked just with motion and movement. He didn't know what to do, and he just ended up standing.
Oh.
The other thing, Ron, that I would consider in this game that's going to be important is situational football. I'll go ahead and pick up where you left off, as Ron looks like he's got a deer in the headlights look right now. As you look at the Denver Broncos this year and what they're doing defensively, the success that they've had, one of the areas where they've been absolutely dominant is just like the situational stuff. So you look at where they're at on third downs. Opposing teams are converting just 28% of their third downs against the Broncos this year. That's the second lowest conversion rate through 10 weeks in the last 5 years against a defense. So yeah, they're really good on third down, which makes sense given what their pass rush is. If you get into third and long, it's a nightmare scenario. And then once you get into the red zone, it's great, but you've got to convert those opportunities into touchdowns. And this year, only 9 of the 24 red zone opportunities against the Broncos have been converted into touchdowns. So 3rd down, red zone, those money down scenarios that we talk so much about that Mahomes is amazing at, they've got to come through in those situations this week against Denver, Serda.
Yeah, 100%. And like the red zone stuff had been, I think, better this year for the Chiefs than it had been the last couple of years. And then now everybody's like in love with the Rashee Rice and the backfield stuff, and I think that is fun. But like this is the type of game where it's like, hey, you don't necessarily need to score 4 touchdowns to win this game, because it's probably just going to be this type of like grind, just don't make the mistake and get the points when you can take them, like type of performance. But like, I don't care about that, because I've seen the potential of this offense. And while this Denver defense is like really, really good and really, really talented, you can still test them offensively, because I think the Chiefs offense is still that good and can still give them problems. And so coming off of a bye and having this much time to prepare for all of that, like, I want to see that. So I'm not coming into this game being like, oh, I want to see the Chiefs just, dink and dunk this thing and play it safe and just escape Denver with the win. Like, no, I want them to go out there and try to put their foot on the gas against one of the best teams in the NFL and see what they can do with 2 weeks of preparation heading into this one, knowing that this is like a must-win game for them if they want to have a chance to claw their way back in the AFC West.
So while we're waiting on Ron to come back, we didn't plan on. There he is. Real quick aside, Ron. We just talked a little bit about the situational football stuff. How do you see the wide receiver rotation going this week? Do you think it changes at all? Like, one of the things that I'm curious about, because sometimes it's schematics that change after the bye, other times it's actual personnel usage, who's getting onto the field. I wonder if they use a little bit more Tyquan Thornton, especially in a game like this.
I was going to say the only thing that I would see is less Hollywood. Maybe less Hollywood and more Thornton. Especially because right now, it seems like he has the ability to get open quickly. And it feels like this to me is going to be a game, especially early, that is much more short passing. And that may be the adjustment. And it feels like we've been seeing that phase anyway. It seems like Hollywood, of all of the guys, have been used less. Although he's had some big plays, like he probably had the 2 biggest pass plays against Buffalo down the field. But it feels like Juju has still been involved at the same level he was. Obviously, Rashee Rice has increased. They got to get Worthy going a little bit more, but it's not the lack of reps. But Hollywood is the only one that I could see. And it has been weird. Like, I knew that somebody's going to take a back seat, but it feels like Tyquan Thornton's just not even been involved the last 2 weeks. Like, he may get a few snaps.
Yeah, it seems like when he's in, he's getting targeted, but he's barely playing. He's barely seeing the field. And I think his field stretching ability is so important for what the offense is and what it brings. I think he imposes more fear in opposing defenses than Marquise Brown does so far this season. And if I'm the Broncos, like, I've got to respect the deep ball with him in there. I'm not sure I always do with Hollywood. So I would like to see that a little bit more. That doesn't mean he has to play every snap. Like, get him 30-40% of the snaps. I think that's a pretty good spot to be in, but he's been at like 5 snaps a week lately. And I just don't know if that's enough usage for a guy that has so much, even when he's not seeing the ball come his way, he has so much of an impact on the gravity of what the defense has to do to cover him deep.
And I think it's even more frustrating because, like, of what he brought to the offense early in the season, like, he was their lone, like, downfield playmaker, and now to just not utilize him at all. And
he's more than just downfield,
is frustrating.
Too, Serda. He's more than just downfield.
Yeah, but I think it's like, I want to see Worthy's role expand, but I don't think Xavier Worthy's healthy now. And then he has this ankle issue pop up again this week to where he's limited in practice. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, the shoulder thing seems like he's shying away from contact. This ankle thing seems to have been nagging him for a little while now coming out of a bye. And it's like, okay, well, if he's not like 100%, I want Worthy to be a big part of the offense. But Tyquan Thornton has given you a lot with very little opportunity. So it feels like you should at least try to expand on that.
Listen, third downs, fourth downs are going to be big in this game. And help first downs, like not getting yourself in situations where the Broncos just can't just pin their ears back and go. But third and fourth downs, and by the way, and I know Serda, I know BK loves this. Andy has really become aggressive on these fourth downs. Like he is.
Oh, dude, this gets me going. It's so
not enough for BK. Not enough for BK, but he is taking it up a notch. The amount we get once a game. I hate that he punted there on his own 27. I hate that he punted there, but he's become much more aggressive. So I get the sense that we will see a lot of third downs and fourth downs, and they've got to be able to win those downs too. And I'll just say, find that white guy. That's all I'll say. Old Riley Moss out there, man. He's a nice.
I don't like what you're doing here.
Nice player. Hey, I'm just saying. I know Surtain's out.
He's been a solid player for the Broncos.
Yeah, you said exactly how I feel. Solid. Find him. Third. Hey, I'm just saying. With the Chiefs,
wildly unfair what you're doing here.
Fine 35. I'm not saying he's 27. I'm not saying this is a Shamari Connor situation. He's a little bit better than that. But I just, in coverage, to me, if you can get him on those key downs, like, hey, I last 2 weeks ago, there was a fourth down, the one that the Chiefs didn't get, and he tried to get it to Rice and fit it to Rice inside. Xavier Worthy was out there by himself one-on-one, and he had just absolutely destroyed whoever that was on that route. Hey, go out there and want Worthy out there. Let's see it. Let's find that white guy. All right. I like Riley Moss. He don't have a chance out there. I'm just saying that's a place. And I'm not saying it just because he's a white corner and they are extinct. I am saying that because it would be as if Orlando Scandrick was over there, and you can take advantage of that. He has a lot of penalties. He has got to be the most penalized corner in football. I literally watched a drive against the Dallas Cowboys, and my man Riley must have got called 3 different times. I mean, it was. I felt bad for him, right, to the point where Patrick Surtain thought he was getting racially profiled by officials. That they were calling him. I believe Riley wears sleeves because he doesn't want officials to know that he's white with that visor helmet too. Don't care. I'm just saying he gets penalties repeatedly. He got a pass interference penalty 3 times on CeeDee Lamb on one drive. I'm just saying, and he gets beat. That may be the duck. That may be the duck. If y'all can hold up and you get one of them receivers, Tyquan Thornton, send him deep. Riley's got problems. I'm just saying.
Sir, the reason this show works is because I'm Stat Boy and Ron's Watch It With Your Eyes guy. Hey, guess what? Ron's Watch It With Your Eyes has matched up with the Stat Boy. Riley Moss has more pass interference calls against him this season than any defensive back in the NFL. He has been called for a pass interference 5 times this season. No other corner has been called for it more than 4.
I watched it. He was right behind Jawan Taylor in total penalties by one single player on the season. He is fighting it now. I mean, he is.
He only has 6 penalties, but 5 of them are DPI, which is not what you want.
Yes, he was right behind Jawan with 7. I think Jawan may have gotten another holding penalty since the last time I saw it, but he's 6. And
he's accumulated 86 penalty yards this year, dude. That's a lot. That's a lot of penalty yards for a D-back.
And I want to say congratulations to him because he was sitting at 6 prior to that Raiders game, so that must mean he got – and listen, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm not kidding you, I've watched a lot of Riley. there are probably 4 or 5 that weren't accepted because they were caught. That he did not get the penalty called, like that it is not going down in the books as a penalty because it wasn't accepted because the receiver caught the ball. All right. He's got even other ones that haven't been accepted. I mean, he struggles. I mean, if you could, like, I bet you Andy is going to find ways to get – who is the other corner anyway? Right? Because Riley – and the other thing is, you said this before the show, I don't dispute this. Riley may be their best corner with Surtain out.
Is it Jaquan McMillan?
Okay. I get
He the
you
one
got
that's
it.
playing right now?
You got it. Hey, boss, you got it. I'm just saying, 3rd, 4th down, man. Don't miss that advantage. It's right there for you. 3rd, 4th down. All right, get Rasheed matched up there. He ain't gonna go in the slot. He gonna stay outside.
I think they have my guy Chris Abrams-Drain, Mizzou kid, in the slot right now.
Oh, yeah, go get that too. There's a little money right there too for you, Rasheed, baby. There's a little bit of money right. I'm just saying, like, if they can hold up, they got answers. Right? They got answers on the outside if they can hold up.
No doubt.
It's just they got them nuts that they got to deal with. All right, when the Broncos have the ball, I'll let you give your thoughts on this, BK. When the Broncos have the ball, this is a team. They're 8-2, but a lot of their 8-2 don't happen because the Broncos have the ball. A lot of their 8-2 is in survival mode of when the Broncos have the ball. What's your concern with the Broncos with old Bo Nix when he gets the ball?
My co-host on our show calls him Bo Picks. I don't respect this offense. I don't respect him. And the reason why is because they're not good. They don't do anything particularly well. Like, Bo Nix is not a good quarterback. He's like a bottom 10 guy in the league this season. He throws a lot of deep balls. He's not particularly great at it. They don't have any receivers that really scare you all that much. I think Cortland Sutton's pretty good, and we've seen he's had some success against the Chiefs in particular. This matchup has not been kind to Trent McDuffie at times over the years. But beyond that, like, Troy Franklin's fine. Marvin Mims is interesting. That's kind of it. Like, they just don't have very many great players on the offensive side of the ball. And overall, the offense feels disjointed most of the time. It's a bottom 5 offense in the league, Ron. And if not for the best defense, like, without question in the NFL so far this season, this would be a team that right now sits below 500. So they're very fortunate to have the other side of the ball that they do. That's the only reason they're viewed as any kind of a contender this season.
And also, sort of, they have this weird deal where they'll come alive, right, with their quarterback. They'll come alive, and it often happens in the fourth quarter out of nowhere. They'll come alive, and that is, but outside of that, man, they really don't do a lot of things that scare you. And he looks like a mistake waiting to happen.
Bo Nix has had a couple of games where it's like he just went nuts in the fourth quarter. But for a large part of the season, this Broncos offense has been like one of the most unwatchable offenses in football. And, like, you know, J.K. Dobbins probably going to miss this week. I think Dobbins has been good, and I think I would almost like prefer he play because RJ Harvey, I think, scares me a little bit more. Like, you know what you're getting in Dobbins, and Harvey is like this dynamic rookie running back, and it's like you can see where he can just be like an explosive play waiting to happen. But I think that their passing game like hasn't been that good, and it's been in large part because Bo Nix has just struggled a lot. Like, they take a lot of these deep shots down the field, and they try to make up for the fact that they can't just march the football down the field. Like, Bo Nix has limitations as a passer, and so it's not like he's getting asked to do everything. So instead, they try to make up for it by run the ball, take a shot down the field, like, and hope that they connect. And then when they connect, it looks good on paper, and you're like, oh, they put up a lot of points today. But for a lot of the season, that stuff just hasn't connected very consistently. And Bo Nix has looked like one of the like one of the bottom 10 quarterbacks in the NFL for a better part of the season.
Ron, the other thing is you just don't have to, like, against Chiefs offense, you have to protect seemingly every blade of grass. They can go horizontally, they can go vertically, they can do a little bit of everything. That's not what they were last year. The Chiefs offense last year, everything was close to the line of scrimmage. They did not beat you deep. With this Broncos defense, their offense, one of the things that I think leaves a lot on the table, they don't use the intermediate game at all. It's all either really deep or right at the line of scrimmage. There's nothing in between. And that's the area where I do have some concerns about this Chiefs defense. Like, you beat these linebackers in that 10 to 20 yard range. That's problematic for the Chiefs defense. The slot receivers covering those deeper over routes where they're getting like 15 yards up the field. That's problematic for the Chiefs defense at times. That's just not the way that this Broncos offense operates this season. There's stuff that's at the line of scrimmage. Chiefs are pretty good against that for the most part. They've got corners that are more than happy to tackle on the perimeter. They've got safeties that'll come up. They'll get you. Basically, the only thing that I fear in this game, like the only way that I see the Chiefs defense giving up a bunch of points is if they get beat deep. And that's it. And I trust that Steve Spagnuolo is going to have a game plan that puts the cover over the top. I just don't fear this offense. I don't think that they're worthy of your respect.
That is very disrespectful. I am floored by the approach that Sean Payton has with their offense and Bo Nix. He does not operate as if, all right, look, we got a hell of a defense. We have a historic pass rush, historic defense. Like, we can keep the score down. Really, if we don't just hurt our team, if we don't just turn the ball over, if we can sustain drives and we can just get points on the board, man, if we get to 20 and we get leads and we get to unleash our pass rush, he does not operate that. He does not operate as if, like, what did you say, Serda? Bo Nix is what, like the 20th best quarterback in football? Something like that. He does not operate like that. He operates as if Bo Nix is the guy that is going to carry them. Like, the amount of he threw the ball almost 40 times against Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and Derek Stingley and Kamari Laster. 40 times. Now, they got away with it in one. He threw a bad pick and probably threw two others that should have been picked off. But now that is the one thing. They will not be bashful on the shot plays. They're gonna get 5 to 10, and they're gonna try them, and they're gonna throw them whether they're covered or not. And he's not accurate at all on them. My man be at a 1-for-6 clip, and sometimes they find a way to get them open. But he is gonna give you one, and probably two. And the Chiefs defense are going to have to go out there and take advantage of that. That's the part that gets me. And I don't think he's going to change. They've had a mini bye. But that's the part that gets me, fellas, is Sean Payton approaches this like he's got Patrick Mahomes. Like, he approaches this like he's got Josh Allen, like, baby Bo, we got to jump on your back, man. I want to put the ball in your hands. J.K. Dobbins be over there. I was watching him against the Texans. I sat there and watched that game. J.K. Dobbins was at 6.5 yards a carry. R.J. Harvey was about 7 yards a carry. 37 passes from Bo Nix in a tight game. It's unbelievable. Like, so they've got to take advantage of that. And again, like you said, man, it's Mims that's the one that really scares you downfield, and it's looked really rough because he hadn't been available the last 2 weeks with a concussion, but they will have him back, so he is a bigger downfield threat. But you're right, man, that, like, that's what they do, and they're not good at it, but it's weird. They just keep doing it. So they got to stop that. But also, I mean, what helps that is you got to be able to rush the passer. And I feel like the blitz situation should be better. Like, I don't feel like outside of Mims, they got a lot of guys that are just going to just run past you. They got some big-ass dudes in Bryant and Sutton and Cortland Sutton, and even Franklin 6'3" or whatever. But they should, if they can get some pressure, Bo is going to make some mistakes.
Yeah, this should be, by the way, I'm really curious about the personnel on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the secondary. What they decide to do here. Do you go with this being a week where, hey, it's McDuffie in the slot at all times? Does Noel Williams get that like full-time outside receiver spot back? Jalen Watson, we know, is going to be on the field the whole game. Is there a chance that we finally see Christian Fulton get the field? Probably not, but like, could this be the post-bye spot where we actually get to see their biggest free agent acquisition on the field again? I don't know, but that is one spot that I'm curious about how they deploy some of these guys.
Yeah, and you brought up R.J. Harvey because I think R.J. Harvey and Marvin Mims are two like gadget guys that they sometimes are able to get big plays. I think they got like 8 touchdowns between the two of them on just kind of gadget stuff. I do feel like if R.J. Harvey is the primary back, I feel better about it. Like he concerns me when Dobbins is out there and he gets out there and you're like, what's he up to? But if he's the primary back, I feel good. Like I don't think what Cook did to the Chiefs is something that is going to be an ongoing issue. I
the
think
Chiefs have been good against running backs.
Yeah,
for the
that's
most
just
part
that game. Just that game. I don't think that carries. So I feel really good, especially if they get a lead, man, and you get to dictate it. Like they should get a couple of turnovers in this game. All right. Sort of go ahead and grab me my music. Okay, not gonna do it. All right. And let's play the game that's sweeping the nation. Shout out to you, those that are live rocking with us. If you've not listened to this podcast, shame on you. Make sure you listen from here on out. We'll be live. Is that the case? We'll be live every Thursday right here, 8:30, 8:50ish,
Yes.
whatever, something around that time. The game
sometime after 8:30.
Yeah, good call. The game that's sweeping the nation, certified or imposter. I say a statement. You tell me if it's certified or imposter. Here it is. The Chiefs win this game. If the Chiefs go into Denver and beat the Denver Broncos, that would get them to 1 game behind them in the division. 1.5, but they got to bye. 1 game back. The Chiefs will win the AFC West if they win Sunday. Certified or imposter?
I'll go certified. If they win this game, I believe they will win the division, because if they win this game, I think there's a pretty decent shot they win out. And if you win out, I think you're winning this division, because you'll be, 13-4 or whatever. But it all starts this week. That would be the game that gives me the confidence in them having the opportunity to do that. But yes, I do believe they will win the division with a win on Sunday.
Yeah.
Even though they're 2 back. Even though they're 2 back right now. Yep.
If you win on Sunday, you'll be 1 game back and you'll be pretty close. Like, you'll just need to win the other game to get the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's certified too, because I don't like the Broncos defense is going to be a problem, but like them having, another game, like that awful game they played against the Texans a couple of weeks ago or whatever, like being in like a couple of games like that where it's a coin flip in the 4th quarter and they wind up like dropping a game like that down the stretch. Like, I don't think any of us would be surprised by that. And then the Chargers, like, Justin Herbert's been great this season, but that offensive line has just fallen apart. And like, I just don't have faith that the Chargers are going to be able to string it enough together to stay out in front. And it feels like the Chiefs, they get through these next 2 games and it's like wide open for them to go on a run and just finish the season. And after 2 months of us being like, oh, they might not win the division, like after all, they'll just wind up winning the AFC West and being like the 2 or the 3 seed and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm going to say certified too, because you just start looking at it and all their, like, I feel really good, especially about this team at home. And you start looking at it, they get the Colts at home, they get the Chargers at home, they get the Broncos at home. Like that those would be the home games, and those are their tough games, and all of them at home, and they're the critical games there. And then they get to go to Vegas to play the Raiders, who seem to be a bad matchup for the Chiefs. They then get to go to Tennessee and they're just I don't know what they're doing. In Dallas, right? And you look at that and you're like, okay, that feels like a strong schedule where like maybe they drop one. Not sure. As you said, BK, I think they're very capable of running the table if they win this one because they have been playing good, up into that Bills game. And I think this one gives them the confidence there. So I'm with you, certified. If they win this one on Sunday, I think they do win the division because Denver, as you said, they got to play the Chiefs again in Kansas City, and you can own it that way. They do have a couple, though. They do have a couple of games that are dicey. And the way that Denver plays, it's even different from the Chiefs. They are very, and they've proven it. They are whatever I'm trying to say, to losing.
Got it.
Yes, susceptible to losing to anybody. Right, like they can lose. The Jets should have beat them. The Raiders should have beat them. The Giants should have beat them. Right, so like even in these games when you look at them, you think, well, they should beat this team. Like they could, like that game in Vegas against the Raiders. That's not just a layup, right? They play the Chargers again at home. That's not just a layup, right? They are right in the space where they could lose to anybody. All right, prediction time. This is a huge game that we've talked about the entire way. Serda, where you at? Chiefs, Broncos. How you see this game going?
I'm gonna pick the Chiefs to win. I just have enough faith that like the bye week, the preparation time, Simmons being back in the mix with Rashee Rice, like this is the time for the Chiefs to go on their run and to prove that like they're still one of the best teams in football. And I feel like they're going to be able to do that. I don't think this game is going to be like super fun to watch. Like, I don't think it's going to be like high flying, but I still think the Chiefs coming off the bye and having all this prep time for the Broncos, like they're going to have something good for that to go up against that defense. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win 27-17.
I'm going to take the Chiefs to win as well. I think it's even a little lower scoring than what Serda just did. I think this at times will feel a bit like a slop fest. If you're watching this game on Sunday and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not enjoying any of this, that's normal. That's a Broncos game. Like that's what you're watching. It's a day that ends in Y in which the Broncos are playing. I think it ends up as a 23-16 win for the Chiefs. They win, they cover the spread. Everybody leaves saying, I'm so glad that thing is over. And ultimately, all that matters is they get the W. This is a pass-fail test for the Chiefs on Sunday. If it's by 1 or if it's by 100, all that matters is that they come out on top, and I believe that they will.
Yeah, I think it'll be an uglier game. I know the Chiefs had been scoring, in the 28-30 range before that Buffalo game. I think if they get to 20, that is hard for me seeing this Broncos team crack 20 points. Now, I do think the Broncos have had to do nothing but sit here for 12 days and listen to how bad they are in terms of their offense and that they only put up 10 points. And I think they're going to come out like a ball of fire. And their first 15 plays might be something. But their offense is their offense, and their quarterback is their quarterback. And Spags has had 2 weeks to sit here and prepare for this. I got it 24-13. 24-13 Chiefs, and they get to 6-4, and now you're on it, and they'll have another big game coming up next week. There we go, fellas. We are out.